Hello, everybody. Hello, PHOTOPILLERS. Rafael the Bar here. Welcome to another masterclass talk, another episode. Today we have Marco Grassi with us. Hello, Marco. Thank you for being on the show.
Hello, Rafa. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody.
I'm Spanish, you're Italian. I hope people can
the accent is strong tonight.
And today we're going to talk about the adventure that you've had in Antarctica. Actually, you've been sailing for 2 weeks in a nutshell, in a small sailing boat.
I did, actually.
With 6 more PHOTOPILLERS.
Crazy PHOTOPILLERS.
And you came back
legends.
Legends. Yeah, really true heroes, because traveling to Antarctica in the COVID time is pretty challenging.
Has been complicated, for sure. Even just to get to Chile has been quite a mission. Before this trip, I was for like a few weeks earlier in Argentina, and getting in Argentina was quite easy. But to enter Chile, you have to validate your vaccine, send a lot of papers, requires a lot of time. And you also have to get tested on arrival. And so you never know, what if you test positive on arrival, then the trip is gone. There was a lot of stress just even before getting to Antarctica. And on the way back to Argentina, I think I got COVID. I was positive. So I've been dodging COVID since day one of the pandemic. I was like, oh, no problem. I have the vaccine and everything, mask. But unfortunately, I got COVID. I infected everybody for Christmas. Everybody loved it. Everybody hated me. But yeah, no, all with mild symptoms, everything. Everybody was okay, but it was really stressful because the trip to Antarctica was coming up, and I kept testing positive every day. Rafa was really stressing.
Yeah,
and myself as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were so stressed because we had this PHOTOPILLERS expedition to Antarctica that we've been postponing for 2 years, and just the day before departure, you tested positive, and it was like, oh my god. I think.
No, yeah, and I kept testing positive, and it was really crazy. And at the end, we were like, oh, we need a miracle. It's never gonna happen. I didn't even have the bags ready or everything. I was like, okay, there is no way. And then I got a call late in the night, a few days before the trip, that I was negative. Like, yes, it's happening. I'm going. So I just prepared everything and I went to the airport, got to Chile, and there I got another PCR test. And I think it was the worst PCR test ever. And also, I think the clients had the same experience. The lady at the airport went all the way up, I think, into my brain. I was like, for sure, I'm going to be positive with this one again. See you guys when you get back from Antarctica. But no, I tested negative even to that test. And then the day after, with the clients, we all took a test at the headquarters of the boat company, just before getting to the boat, so we then could get rid of the mask and everything. Incredible that we all made it. We were all negative, and the trip to Antarctica was about to start. Also, clients lost connection, lost the luggages. There was so much drama before the actually going to Antarctica. Yeah. And
it's been pretty crazy. Adventure just to get there.
Just to get there, yeah.
6 people that were joining the expedition, they had to go through so many adventures to get first on the boat, and then flying to Antarctica. It's another experience, because we didn't want people just to cross the Drake Passage, right?
No, exactly. So when we put the trip together back in 2019, we decided to, instead of sailing through the Drake Passage, which with a boat like we had, that I think it was 66 feet, can be pretty intense to cross the Drake Passage. So instead, the boat was waiting for us in King George Island, which is a little island north of the Antarctica Peninsula. And then we flew from Chile, from Punta Arenas, which is a town south of Chile. We flew there in just 2.5 hours compared to, I think, 3 days of sailing, even more. I don't know, but for sure it could get really intense on that boat. If you want, I can put up a slider and show you some videos and stuff.
I'd love to see photos, videos, and tell me more about the story.
Everything, for sure.
The crazy stories you've been living. And by the way, guys, if you have questions, just leave your questions in the chat, because we have with us Sandra Vallaure, as always. She will collect the questions and let us know, so Marco can answer.
Oh, spoiler! There was another slider. Okay, so I guess you see the screen, right?
Yes, nice place.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay, just Antarctica.
Just Antarctica. Okay, so before I start, 2 important things to keep in mind. I put together this slider today, and Rafa told me put a lot of photos and put a lot of videos, and I realized that I'm not gonna be anytime soon a filmmaker. No way. Like, the videos are really bad taken with the phone, but they probably will give you an idea of the trip. And plus, I also tell everybody when on the photo tours, never edit and post, never edit and show your images. It's always good to edit and take your time to really see the image, go back to it a few days after. But all the images here, I just edit them all today. So awesome. It's going to be interesting to see how you like them. Anyway, so day 1, as I was saying with Rafa, we didn't cross the Drake Passage. We flew straight to King George Island, and once we got there, was quite important that we were going to leave straight away King George Island, because there was a big storm coming. The captain was predicting, I think, about 60 knots. so as a day 1, quite intense. And also as a day at the end of the trip will have been intense. 60 knots, yeah, it was kind of scary. So we had to start going as soon as possible. We weren't even ready on the boat or nothing. We just put the bags on the boat and we started sailing south. From King George Island, the captain said that we had to reach this island that you can see south here, and which is called Enterprise. And
you can point if you want with your mouse, Marco.
I can,
people
but I cannot see my mouse. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know. You can see my mouse?
No.
Okay. So sorry. Anyway, the island in the south, and it was the only safe anchorage point. So we had to get there. There was no way around. So we left straight away, and then we started sailing south. And it took us, I think, around 26, even more hours. So here, 3 really quick videos of the first one is us on the plane arriving to Antarctica and seeing the ice cap for the first time. And I think from the airplane, I even spotted a whale. Nobody believed me of the clients, but I think I did. Maybe my imagination. Anyway, and then on the shore, we saw the first 2 penguins. We were really, really excited about seeing the penguins. It was my first time seeing penguins from so up close, so I had to take a video, some photos. At the end, of course, the photos were pretty bad. But anyway, really excited seeing the penguins there next to the Zodiac. And then there is the video from the boat as we were sailing. Wasn't really rough yet, but then it got pretty intense during the night. And like at one point, I was basically like crawling into the floor to get to the toilet, and also the toilet was quite an experience with those waves, I have to tell you. And some people were sleeping on the common area, so basically like the couch. And some other people, like a friend of mine, one of the participants, Bilal, was sleeping in the front cabin. And he basically told me the next day that he was flying out of the bed, like levitating in the air with each wave, and then falling back into the bed. So for sure, an interesting first night, a good start.
Well, Marco, sailing in a small boat with a couple of friends, like the boat is not a big cruise. We wanted to have like a real experience sailing in Antarctica, just 7 people, and
we did for sure.
Yeah, and we survived. and I'm jealous. And I'm jealous because
I know you are.
I couldn't join the expedition because there was not a spot for me. So
when I got COVID, they were like, Rafa, you should go. But then also Rafa got COVID.
Yeah.
At the same time, actually. Yes.
And I was pretty sick. Actually.
Yeah.
By the way, we have a question from Drema. She's asking, yes. How much sailing did you do during the trip? How much motoring? You were like using the sail, or
we were using the sail for the bigger traverses. So, for example, Tis from King George Island going south, we used the sail, and then for all the shortest cruises, like when we were in Antarctica, most of the time we just use the motor. Yeah, and sometimes we are also going sail plus motor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me why, but I think because the sail gives more stability actually to the boat. That should be the reason. Yeah.
Definitely. By the way, Marco, we have Manku that he's asking us when is the next expedition, because he wants to join us. He's been in Antarctica in 2012, and he would like to come with us to Antarctica. So next time I'm coming too.
Next time, Rafa is gonna come too. And actually, I've been thinking about going back since the day when I left Antarctica. Actually, it was like
maybe with a bigger boat, right?
Maybe with a bigger boat, yeah, for sure. Not with a smaller boat. That's for sure. So day 2, here we are. Day 2, we woke up after that crazy night, and we got like the first view on the Antarctica Peninsula. This is a shot I took just while we were cruising at sunrise. I like the silhouette of icebergs. It was pretty nice, and it was actually the first view of the peninsula. So I was pretty excited. And short after that, we started seeing like killer whales, orcas, like a group of, I think around 30, something like that. And we were surrounded by the orcas for like half an hour, even more. They came really close to the boat, under the boat. It was really nice. It was just an amazing experience. And it was also my first time seeing the orcas. So really excited, Rafa, really sorry. I didn't took any video. Like after the rough night, I was just, it was a miracle. I was up. No, I'm kidding. But just being up, and I just took it all in. I was just experiencing the moment with the orcas, and I took some photos. Yeah, it was really exciting. And then it was the only time during the trip that we saw so many orcas. We saw orcas again, but just like maybe 1 or 2, nothing like this.
When did you take the swim? Because I saw you swimming on Instagram stories, and I thought this guy is crazy. He's gonna be eaten by an orca or something.
Yeah, no, I didn't went for the polar plunge while the orcas were around, or anything else. It was just me. And And everybody, like a few people actually wanted to do the polar plunge, some of the clients, but they, after seeing my face, I was the first one in the water, and like I couldn't speak. They said, I can't remember exactly, but yeah, like it was really cold, and then they all gave up. Nobody went. I was the only one. It was, guys, we go. Yes, yes, yes. And then no. So after the orcas, we kept sailing south. We reached Enterprise. We went for a ride with the Zodiac, looking for some icebergs to shoot again at sunset. It was pretty nice. And then we went out. And then, as you can see here on the video on the right, it started to snow. There was not really much wind, but the storm was coming. And yeah, we could see it like in the distance. There were all these dramatic clouds. These were taken around sunset, just before the snow. There were these beautiful icebergs, and like the bad weather was coming. We were expecting 60 knots, and we were sleeping in this little bay in Enterprise, which is a really sheltered area. So we didn't really felt much of the wind, much of the storm. But for sunrise, we went out. For a hike, and the wind was really strong. I think we only were in 3 for sunrise out because the weather wasn't. It was really windy. Yeah, and like the wind was blowing us into the ground. Was crazy. not the best day for a hike, but the storm that came was actually not that terrible. It was like a lot of wind, but the weather was good. So as you can see, like this is a shot from the sunrise. Like yeah, it was windy, but it was pretty nice weather, some nice clouds, beautiful place. And I also took this one on the way back down into the shore to get to the Zodiac. And the day, like this was the day 3, was pretty good. Like was supposed to be the worst day, and it was actually really nice. We spent sunrise here, then we went for dinghy ride with the Zodiac ride during the day, shooting seal colony, other icebergs. It was pretty nice. Here, just a few fun videos of us going up to this mountain for sunrise. The wind was crazy. You can't really tell, especially because there is no audio, but it was really strong. Then also during the day, the weather got better. This is one of the clients sliding down a mountain. This is the fast way down. Alex. And then we also went, yeah, Alex. And then we also went again for another sunset hike. Since the weather was good, every time the weather was good, basically we were trying to be out. We didn't explore and be out and hike and stretch the legs and spend time outside. We weren't really lucky with the weather. So all the time that the weather was decent, was good, we went out and to do some hike and to escape from the boat. So this is one of the shots that we took at sunset, on Enterprise. And this is another shot from the same place, and this really shows you the geology of the place. We were always hiking in these mountains that was actually all a glacier. It was full of ice. Underneath there was a lot of snow, so we were hiking on the snow, but underneath there was the ice. And where we were hiking, we just had to find like a safe spot to use to reach the top. And then once on the top, you couldn't really go close to the edge, because as you can see here, if you go close to the edge, there is a big drop. There were normally like big crevasses. So close to the edge is quite dangerous, but in the middle, you're safe. This is a bit tricky photography-wise, because it will be better to go close to the edge, so you have like a better view. Where instead, if you stay like where the snow is, this is like this kind of foreground here is what you get. You get like a snow like this. So you cannot really use like a wide angle lens because otherwise you get too much snow filling the bottom of the frame, right? So you always and you always have that massive amount of snow in the foreground. But yeah. Just something.
Regarding the gear, what gear did you guys bring?
Oh yes. So regarding the gear, I have all the gear here.
Oh, you have the slides.
Showing off. No, showing off and gone. I can hide the screen here, or I can show you the gears later.
Yeah. Please.
Okay. So
we'll get there.
We will get there. Yeah. So day 4, we sailed from Enterprise to Coverville. The whole day here was pretty incredible. We were sailing during the day, but the light was just phenomenal. It was really dramatic clouds, really dark, stormy clouds with beautiful midday light. And then we arrived to Coverville, which was where we saw our first penguin colony, like thousands of penguins everywhere. So this is a view that we got. Sorry, I'm gonna hide here. This is a view that we got while we were sailing. And the positive thing about the smaller boat is that if you're finding something that you like, you can just ask the captain to go back, circle around, and you can stay there. If the weather is good, as much as you want. But then, of course, you have to be also careful about like time, because sometimes you have to reach a certain destination by a certain time. But anyway, like what was really good with the sailboat was that we were able, for example, to take a photo like this, get there, and we just took this from the boat, and it was almost like eye level. Also, this was another shot that we took while we were sailing. And then, videos. So yeah, basically here a video of us sailing on the way to Coverville. The penguin colony right here, a lot of penguins with the beautiful background. The light was quite nice. It was full of penguin chicks. So we took some photos of the penguins, of the chick being fed by the mother. It was really nice. And the last video here on the right, you see basically like how big the area is. It's full of penguins, and we were only 7 people. I was there as well. 7 people enjoying this big area all by ourselves. So it was really nice. And this is another shot that I took as we were sailing. We saw like some penguins on the icebergs, and then we asked the captain if we could go closer to the iceberg, and we did. And we took this photo. Everybody was happy just with that dramatic background with the peak. It works really well, and the shape of the icebergs is really nice. So this is something that I really enjoyed about the small boat, was being able to get this kind of shot, to have this kind of flexibility while we were cruising. Like if we were seeing something cool, we could stop and go for it, basically.
Very nice.
And this is another shot of the penguin taken on the penguin colony that I just showed you. There was like are called penguin highways. Basically, penguins always walk in the same path in the snow, and then they create like they dig a path into the snow, and it looks like a highway. They all walk there. And to get this shot, basically, there was the penguin highway leading all the penguins into this spot with the ice. And I had to stay there quite a bit to get a penguin in the right spot and the right focus, because sometimes it was focusing like because I didn't know where the penguin was going to be. It could have been closer to me or further away. So every time was a bit tricky, but at the end I got this shot with the penguin there that I really like. I think one of my favorite ones. Anyway, day 5, time to leave Cooverville and go to Port Lacroix. And Port Lacroix, it seems that there is post office, but it was closed because of the COVID, of the pandemic. There were some scientists in the island counting penguins every day. So at the end, we managed to get some postcards to send home. But yeah, Port Lacroix, we slept really close to a penguin colony, and there were all the chicks and the mother, the father was really nice. We got many shots of the penguins. Of course, I have like thousands of images to edit, but I just edited this one today. More to come. And then the next day, we basically this is the day that we sailed there. So the weather wasn't really good. It was snowing a lot. It was really cold. And then these were just a clip from the penguins on the colony. It's pretty cool. And something that I found out while we were there, since there was a lot of snow, is that you have to be careful if the snow is deep and you fall like with the legs or even with your chest into the snow, and you create like a hole. Can be really dangerous for the penguins, because if they fall into the hole, then they're gonna die. So we had to be careful not to go where the snow was too deep, basically. Day 6, we left Port Lacroix, direction south to see, we saw a lot of iceberg, a lot of ice. At the end is Antarctica. And it was for me one of the best days of the trip. So we have been sailing through La Mer Channel, through the ice. It was a beautiful day.
Nice.
Yeah, amazing day. It was a really, really good day. Everybody loved it. There were like these huge, big mountains with hanging glaciers. There were all the penguins jumping around the boat as we were cruising. It was really nice. Yeah, great day. I still have to edit photo from this day, but here you can see some videos of the place. And basically, we sailed all day through these icebergs and this ice. And here on the right, there is one of the crew member speaking at the radio with the captain, telling him exactly where to go, where to avoid like bigger chunks of ice. And we sailed for hours and hours, and at the end we made it to the end of the channel. And when we arrived at the end, we were half a mile, like 500 kilometers, 500 meters, kilometer is a bit much, 500 meters away to the spot where we were supposed to sleep, but the ice was too thick. There was just too much ice. The captain didn't want to go ahead, so we had to back up, go out, because a storm was coming. So we saw the storm approaching, and we had to get the hell out of there really fast. And then we sailed all the way back to Port Lacroix. And then we spent another day. So we arrived in Port Lacroix. The weather was really bad. We stayed there during the evening. We didn't go out. And on day 7, this storm that we were facing in La Mer Channel hit us in Port Lacroix, and we had to spend the whole day on the boat editing. And after a few hours, you get a bit of cabin fever. Some of the clients did, for sure. So in the evening, even though it was snowing, we went out. We took some nice shots of the penguins with the snow. Like the snow was really thick snowflakes. So it was pretty cool for photos. And an highlight of the day is also that we received an emergency call while we were having lunch, because
really?
We were there with there were other 2 sailing boats next to us, and a guy with a Zodiac had some problem with his Zodiac and the engine. He was trying to get back to the boat, but they were like 35 knots or something like that, and he had only a 4 horsepower Zodiac. So there was no, no way to make it back. The captain of our captain and a guy from the other boat went to rescue him. And in the meanwhile, the boat next to us, since the wind was really strong, one of the ropes that were keeping the boat anchored to the land, one of the rope broke, so we were afraid that the boat was gonna collide against us. So the crew member, of course, was was with us, and they were ready to leave in case the boat was really close. It was like 50 meters, so they were looking if something was gonna happen. We had to move really fast to avoid the impact.
And you were with no captain on the boat?
Captain, no captain,
okay.
no captain, no, of course not. Unfortunately not. But everything went well. Yeah. Day 8, so the weather wasn't really good, as you can see from the video. It was still pretty bad, but we started sailing to the Melchior Island, an island north. We sailed all day. We got there when it was pretty late in the day, and the weather was really bad, so we didn't get out again. We spent the time editing, reviewing the photos, and
Marco, how is the life? Because I've been in the Mediterranean with a rough sea, with my friends, sailing, spending a week with friends in a sailing boat. It's tough sometimes. And since you guys, you didn't get that great weather, and you spent quite a few days stuck inside this small boat, sailing boat, with strangers, right? Because nobody knew each other.
Nobody knew each other. Yeah. No, but like in the Mediterranean, I can see that might be tricky. But in Antarctica, it's full of restaurants, you can have pizza everywhere. So if the weather is bad, you just go and get a pizza. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, it's been a problem, especially as you say, like it can be tough if you're traveling with friends, people that know each other. But actually here, a group of strangers with different ideas on the boat for so many days, it can be tricky for sure. And then especially even more tricky on a bad weather day where you're stuck inside all day, and the only common area that we had really was the table with the couch around the table where we were having breakfast, lunch, dinner, editing, and having conversation. So life was around that table. So for sure, there can be a bit of contrast.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. I'm asking because this adventure is not only a photography adventure; it's also a life experience. I'm telling you, I've been with friends and sailing, and sometimes can be tough. So I've been in Antarctica with all the risks, right? With all the wildlife and the icebergs and the bad weather. Definitely, it's challenging.
No, it has been for sure. Especially like I felt like toward the end of the trip, if it gets even harder because you're actually living together. Probably people that wouldn't hang out, right? Normally back home, then they're stuck together for 14 days. Can be tricky, but nobody kill each other. We all survived, so
Did you cook anything special for them, or
poison? No, I'm kidding. No, I cooked. So I wanted to bake focaccia. Was highly requested by the clients. But there was anything to measure the ingredients. So I should have done it just like putting salt, oil, yeast all together without knowing. And I have really high standard for my focaccia. So I said, no, guys, I cannot do it. I just bake like some crepes, French crepes. Yeah. Then we had the Nutella. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that I was cooking the crabs, preparing the crabs in one of the worst day, like with we were sailing with the waves. Yeah, crazy experience to cook in that condition. Anyway, to getting back to the trip, which is almost over. On day 9, we had this beautiful weather day, the full day in the Melchior Island. You can see we were anchored there. You can see our boat on the left and another boat on the right. So it's something that happened a few times during the trip, that maybe a sailing boat was arriving like late in the night and they were attaching their boat to us. And like I wasn't expecting that before the trip, but then I feel like you are at the end of the world, and for some people for some other boat was like the first time getting there, and can be hard to anchor because the anchor is really bad and you have to put 6 ropes to tie 6 rope to the ground, to the land, so that the boat is stable. So sometimes if we were already there, some other boats were coming. Here we were a bit disappointed because it would have been nicer with just one boat for the photo. But yeah, there is always Photoshop, so I can get rid of it, even though now you guys saw it. But yeah, I can just leave one boat maybe. Anyway, the day that we spent there, we spent the whole day hiking, and all day we went with the Zodiac. We saw whales really close to the Zodiac. It was the best day for whale wise. They were there for like 40 minutes feeding around the Zodiac. Then 2 more came. They came a few meters from the Zodiac. At one point we were just, okay, let's go. we have seen enough. And it was just like, yeah, I think 40 minutes or something like that. It was really nice. Really great experience. And this was basically our day there. We were scouting, we saw the whales, we went for a hike to see. Oh, Rafa, by the way, of course, I was planning every day with PhotoPills.
Yeah.
Even when the weather was bad, I was making plans. So we went up here to see for the moon, because there was a nice peak. And the idea was to get the moon rising from the peak. Unfortunately, it never happened, because then in the evening it was really cloudy. But the plan was nice.
Looking at your photos, it seems that you got many days that were cloudy, right? You didn't actually see the sun or the moon.
No, we never saw. We saw the moon once at the end, but then wasn't really good, really a good position, and was also like really high already, because it was rising behind some peaks, and then when it was much higher, it wasn't really nice for photos. But yeah, we always like really often got low clouds blocking the horizon, and otherwise really overcast days. But it is how it is. Like, you're there sailing, if you get like a good weather and you have a plan, right? Then perfect. If you get bad weather, nothing you can do, and just hope for better weather in the next days. So here we spend the whole day scouting, because sunset was supposed to be decent and sunrise was supposed to be good. So we found his place on the second video. That then we went back for sunrise, and we took a pretty nice photo. And then also, other weddell seal on an iceberg, as we were on the Zodiac scouting for places. So that day we saw like lots of places, the seal, penguins, whales. It was a really good day. On day 10, we went out for sunrise, and at that time was the best sunrise of the trip. Then we got another very good one at the end. So we went out for sunrise and we took this photo. We had one of the crew member with a kayak down there on the right for sense of scale. And then we had this beautiful line on the left of the glacier with the light giving really depth to the scene. And also we took this shot looking toward the glacier, and then we took other images looking toward the sun. They are not ready yet, Rafa. I had to make it perfect, but we got like super lucky. We were shooting on the other side that was really nice as well, and we got randomly like a whale coming out of the water, not jumping, just coming out with the tail while we were shooting, like totally random. Just once the whale came out, and we had like the sun with the whale. It's pretty nice. we got lucky. We also got lucky.
Marco, we have Alex in the chat shouting, whale, whale.
whale. You remember? It was like, where is the whale? Yeah. Here after sunrise, we left the spot. So you see like perfect day, amazing weather, and of course, when the weather is amazing, we had to sail. We have to leave the place because another storm was coming, of course. And the sail from here to Deception Island, which is north, it took us like 18 hours, even more. And has been the worst weather-wise. We got a lot of waves. It was pretty bad. And this is me. Sorry, the second video is me going for the polar jump, and
no way.
I tried to swim, and then I was like, no way, no thanks, I'm gonna go back. Yeah, I'm done. And then then I went up, and it was really cold. And then on the right here is me stealing some food from the kitchen. Yes, I'm sorry, chef. I was doing that every now and then. I was stealing some bread. So
how was
that's
the chef?
The chef, she was from Argentina. She was super friendly. Everybody loved her, and she was great. She was always making sure we were like getting like warm and tasty food every night, and every night on time. She was really precise. She was treating us with some snacks during the day. Then there was David's birthday while we were sailing, and she made a cake for David. She was lovely. She was really nice.
I see that when you're cooking, you were like almost falling on the ground because.
That video on the right is me just trying to put some stuff on the bread, and as you can see, we started to have some waves at that moment, and I was like, it took me like 5 minutes. Then I was cutting down the video, but yeah, it was pretty intense. So we sailed. I was telling you the whole day. We got. When we were, for example, in Port Lacroix at anchor, and we weren't moving because it was bad weather. Probably the wind was around 20 knots. Then some gust of like 30. But and we couldn't move. We had to stay there because of the bad weather. While we sailed from the Malchior to Deception, we had like 35, 40 knots. So it was like we were pretty worried. The crew seems to be okay, but I was a bit scared, so I slept with the life jacket, everything on, ready for action. And I think Alex, that is here on the chat, I think he had some gear on the cabin of the captain, like the captain house is called, on the top, where the captain is piloting the boat. He had some gear like strapped that we were keeping all the cameras up there to avoid condensation, and also to be ready to shoot wildlife if we were running into wildlife. And he said, like, guys, put the gear down, everything inside, because there is the risk for knockout, which is basically when the mast of the boat touches the water.
Oh my God.
So we're like, okay, yeah, all right, all good. But yeah, then I don't know how I fell asleep, and basically I slept through the rough part. DJ and Bilal told me about it. Interesting stories, but I was sleeping. And it was also like 2 a.m. in the morning or something like that. So, yeah.
And that's 30 knots.
Say, 35, 40 with
35,
waves.
40. Oh my God.
with waves. Yeah.
This summer in Greece, with my friends, we got 16, 17, and it was like, like this, going to port, and I can imagine 35, 40, definitely a pretty powerful wind. And
I had to strap myself into bed because I was falling out. And also one of the participants, Kevin, he was sleeping on, of course, on his bed, and the mattress was sliding out when the waves were coming. So he literally fell from the bunk bed with the mattress straight into the ground that night. Yeah, interesting story. And we had to spend, we had to spend a whole day in Deception the day after because of bad weather. Then we left Deception without taking actually many shots. We just went for some hikes in the morning, but then we left and we reached Yankees, which is like a natural harbor. And on the way to Yankees, we also stopped to another penguin colony. Here, the weather was looking great. The penguin colony was full of penguin chicks, beautiful mountains, full of glaciers, of course. It was just amazing. And then from here, we were shooting to here. That was half moon during the day. And then we went to Yankees Harbor for sunset. And there is where we got there for both for sunset and for sunrise is where we got the best shots, at least for me, the best shot of the trip. There was, as you can see, like this is Yankee Harbor. There is the beach with rocks, and there were waves crashing into the beach, and there were the penguins coming out of the water. So we got some really nice shots of the penguin coming out of the water with the backlight. As you can see, this one is just the penguin trying to dry himself up. So these are just like drops from the water that he had on his feather. And then instead, like something like this was the penguin coming out of the water and a wave crashing behind on his back, right? So was pretty good. And we basically got like tons of shots like these of the penguins walking out with waves and spray from the waves, and works just perfectly with the backlight, because then all the sprays of the water, they are lit up, so they pop quite a bit. And also it's pretty nice that you see the silhouette of the penguin highlighted. So this is another shot with the penguin. I took this shot with the 400 2.8, so I got a really nice bokeh, as you can see.
And what about the shutter speed for these wildlife shots?
So this, because of the waves and everything, I think I was shooting at probably 2000 of a second, something like that. But then it was also sunset, so the light was changing. I was adjusting the settings as the light was changing. Basically, it's not like as you shoot during the day. You can basically leave the shutter speed is always okay, because there is no much change in exposure, right? The light stays the same, but here the light was we were getting less and less light, so I had to bump up the ISO and adjust the shutter speed. But I was shooting at 2.8, so quite a bit of light was getting into the lens. Then day 13, we left Yankees and we got back to the island of where we arrived, King George Island. But before that, we shot sunrise. Beautiful sunrise. An amazing sunrise. yeah, phenomenal. Everybody loved the light. Was incredible. We got out there, like we were getting like the first light. We got out there during blue hours. So there is like a curfew for penguin colonies, so you cannot get there before 4. So we got there at 4, just before sunrise. And yeah, incredible. Was the best experience also of the trip. As we were approaching the beach, we saw like these thousands of penguins walking all together from the colony to the shore. Mm-hmm. And then they all stay there without moving and just like watching the sunrise. Wow. It was incredible. And yeah, and then when the sun started to rise and like was visible, they started to jump in the water. It was really incredible. They were just like these, all looking around. It was really cool. And here, like a behind the scene of us shooting the penguins going into the water. And you see like a very nice light, waves, icebergs, penguins, all, yeah, good recipe for a good photo. Huh? And then yeah, everybody super happy of the shots there. And then we basically, we left this other video. I told you, I did the slide just before the call. So this video is actually of King George Island. It's not from the sunrise, so never mind. And this is another shot we took for sunrise before the actual sunrise. And also there was this lagoon, and at Yankee Harbor, there was one side that was outside of the natural harbor where there were the waves, and the part that was inside was full of ice and full of penguins, penguins chicks, and also the water was really still, so it was really nice to see the penguins swimming. It was really cool. And then this is the group with the crew, everybody on the last day in King George Island, and with the flag. I can't recognize the brand there, but and yeah. So basically, this has been the trip to Antarctica, and now I'm gonna.
It's been pretty crazy, actually. We have Kevin Tank in the chat, and he's saying that being thrown off from the top bunk was definitely fun.
Yeah. I can. Raf, I lost you here. Hang on. Okay. All right. I wasn't able to see you. Oh yes, Kevin. Yes. It's been fun indeed, my friend. Yeah, interesting night. And yeah, I was. I told you. I had to strap myself into bed not to fall out. And the first night I was speaking with Kevin, because I had the same problem also the first night. I was falling out of bed, and he was like, and I was sleeping on the bank, on the top bed. So I was concerned not to fall. And also Kevin was sleeping on another room on the top bank. And he was like, no, I don't know, I was okay. I normally I don't move while I sleep. And I was like, no, I don't move either, but there were the waves throwing me out of bed. And then on the crazy cruise from the Melchior to the Deception Island, he also got thrown out of bed a few times. I think more than once, actually. Yes, Kevin, several times, if I remember right.
Definitely. Marco, these stories are fun, but in terms of the gear and the preparation for the trip, what did you guys bring to Antarctica in terms of gear, focal lengths, cameras, or tripods, or?
Yes. So
filters.
I have all the lenses here. So personally, I brought the lenses that I normally carry, plus a 400. Now I can show you all the lenses. Plus the 400 2.8 was my first time using like a prime telephoto lens, and pros were that it gives like an incredible bokeh, as you saw like on those shots of the penguin coming out of the water. Was just amazing. But was also, so this is the huge lens. Sorry. So it's massive. Yeah, it's really big, so doesn't fit in the. Okay, so this is the 400, very nice lens, but it's not really compact. So I normally don't travel with these, and I normally only travel with 100 to 400, so much smaller lens. And I brought the 100 to 400 as well because it was actually really, and it was really good to have it, because with these, I was able also not to shoot just at 400, but also 200 other focal lengths, include more of the landscape. And the 400 itself was better if I was shooting like a portrait of the penguin or wildlife or whatever. But this was a much more flexible lens. So if we were shooting from the boat, and you never know like where the whale is coming out, where the penguin is coming out of the water. So having the flexibility of zooming in and zooming out helps a lot, especially from the boat. Then I also brought, I'm gonna put the lenses here on the floor, it's really safe place. Then I also brought the 24-105 super versatile lens. And I used it a lot, actually. Especially I was shooting all the landscape shots with these, most of the landscape shots. And I also brought the 2.8 12-24 from Sony, which is normally my to-go lens. But as I was telling you before, landscape-wise in Antarctica, especially when we were doing the hikes, you have a lot of snow in the foreground. So if you use like a 12mm lens, then you get like all this massive amount of snow in the foreground, and the mountains are already far away. And if you shoot them like with a wide angle lens, they seems to be seen even more further away, even smaller. So I used these more to shoot like icebergs when we were getting like really close to the ice. It was pretty nice, but yeah, I used the other lens more. Then I've been shooting so many shots of the wildlife with the telephoto. And also I brought two cameras. One is my beloved old A7R3, which I didn't really got to use much. I was using the A1, which is Sony, like a top of the line camera, especially if it makes a lot of sense to have it, especially if you're shooting like a sport or wildlife. It has like an amazing autofocus and tracking system. So if you set it up right, you basically track the eyes and the movement of the animal. So it works really well, really fast shutter speed. So at the end, I took the other camera just as a backup. I was leaving the other camera in the boat in case I was dropping this into the water. But no, this camera also survived, so no need to use the other one. And to bring all this gear has been pretty interesting, because I normally don't travel with the 400, and the 400 is 4 even more kilos, I think. I'm not really sure, I can't remember. Yeah, so my kit is already heavy, as an allowance of a carry-on on the airplane. So I also managed to put 4 extra kilo inside. And yeah, it was super heavy, and I was fine. Luckily, nobody weighed my bag.
Okay.
So I managed to get through, but I was already thinking if somebody were gonna ask me the bag is too heavy, you have to ship something. The trick, and that I did it a few times, is just you take everything out of the backpack and you strap yourself cameras around your neck, lenses are in your pockets. The big lenses here also has a strap like this. So works. Not really comfortable, but works. And then after if they let you on the plane, basically, then you put everything back inside.
For what I see, you didn't use a tripod. Nothing.
No, I brought 2 tripods, a really small one and a huge, massive tripod to handle the 400 millimeters. I used it a few times, but actually, me and the clients, we end up not using the tripod very much. because it was always quite bright. And also, if you shoot wildlife, you're shooting at a fast shutter speed anyway, because like the birds, the penguins, and this and that are moving really fast. So you need a fast shutter speed to freeze the frame. So we didn't do any night photography. So at the end, it wasn't really necessary.
No night photography. But I think at this time of the year, there is no night sky, right?
There was when we were in Yankees Harbor. So when we traveled north again, it started getting dark. It was dark during the night. So like we were sailing, and they needed to like do stuff outside of the boat, fix the sail, and they were all using like headlamps. It was pitch black.
You didn't see the Milky Way? No, because of the
sleeping.
clouds. And...
I was sleeping, my friend. No, we were sailing, and there were 40 knots. I was seeing the end, stripped on the bed.
Marco, we have lots of questions.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, my friend.
Because Nelson Johnson is asking, did you cross the Antarctic Circle? I don't think you went that down, right?
No, I don't think we went that down. No, we should double check actually. But we went with like the southernmost point that we reached was La Mer Channel, and I think that should be up. So a reason to go back, Rafa.
Okay, Adrian Drago. yeah, we need to go back, but in a bigger boat. Because you've never been there with a larger boat, right? I suppose that when there is a storm,
no.
The big boats, they move too, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's impossible to escape. Okay, then Adrian Drago, how long is the flight from Punta Arenas?
I think it was only 2 hours and a half, so really fast, really short flight. But it's not like it's really short, but really expensive too. So yeah, the only tricky part, it was quite expensive, right, Rafa?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy expensive. But like that, you skip the Drake passage, so.
Well, yeah, flying is expensive, but you save like 4 or 5 days, right?
Yeah.
Some people.
Well, probably even more. Yeah, because like if you sail down and sail back up, I think when we were putting the trip together, Rafa, I was looking at different boats, and there was another boat that we could rent in Ushuaia. Charter in Ushuaia, and they were not. You were supposed to sail with them down and then back up, and I think they were telling to have like a 3 or 4 extra day each way, just to wait for a good weather window. So yeah, it's just too much. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely with
8 days like that.
Yeah, such an unpredictable weather is crazy. Yeah. Okay, Rhea Ashmore, what's your favorite lens or lenses?
So my favorite lens in general, for landscape, the 12-24 40 strip. The best lens was for sure the 400. Like the bokeh was incredible, and I was like I was shooting at 2.8 wide open, was really good. It gives like some really stunning results that you cannot get if you're shooting with the other lens, which is an amazing lens. But if you're shooting at 400, then you are shooting at 5.6. So it's totally different result.
Okay. Then we have Nels Johnson. Did you sleep only on the boat or also on the ice? I think it was only on the boat, right? You didn't.
No, I think I slept barely on the boat.
In the air.
Yeah, it was in the air, but no, we didn't sleep on the ice. We only slept on the boat. Yes, I was asking to the boat if it was possible to sleep on the ice before getting there, but then I was told that takes a lot of time. People have to carry their tent, their gear, and then the people have to like dig the hole for the tent. So at the end, we didn't do it because you also need to stay extra days apparently to set up the camp. I've never done it, but this is what I was told. So just too time consuming.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. We can have Rafa setting up the camp.
Yeah, for sure. David Spencer, what's the temperature range?
Celsius, because on Fahrenheit I cannot say. In Celsius, I think we went from +4 to -4, but then of course there is like the wind chill. So even it was -4, but with the wind, it felt much colder for sure. Yeah, nothing crazy though. No. Summer, -4. Yeah. Lovely weather. Almost like in Spain and in Italy.
Yeah. Did you notice any defects of the climate change, or is it really melting? Because in the group photos you send me, you only see rocks and you don't see ice.
Yes. No, that's my fault actually, because I sent you a photo from the worst spot. Mission accomplished. But no, in that part, basically there were no glaciers. So is north. I think it's 120 kilometers north of the Antarctica Peninsula. So in Kirjonj Island, especially on that bay, there were not many glaciers. But I cannot say if they are melting or not for sure. I think it's normal that in summer it melts and then it forms again. But something really strange that the captain was really concerned about is that there was grass. So like just grass. When we were shooting at Yankee Harbor, there was like these big patches of grass, and he took all the photos. And he said like just like a few years ago, there wasn't grass at all.
Yeah.
So for sure is concerning. Yeah.
Definitely. Daniel Schwabe, did you have any problems with condensation?
Condensation for the lenses?
Condensation, yeah.
We did not. But condensation on the boat, we had a lot.
Really?
So yeah, we had a lot of condensation in the boat, a lot. So sometimes, like especially, yeah, a lot. We had to keep some windows open, and also the heat from the inside was going in the pilot house, and everything there was like fogging up because there was like the heat from the inside going out and different temperature. So yeah, the problem on the boat for the cameras, what we were doing normally. So I remember -4, +4. So not like we were not like at -20. So in general, just that I think doesn't give too much problem with condensation. But we were also leaving really often the cameras outside in the pilot house. So the backpack or just the camera and the lenses, or we were putting the cameras in the pilot house first, and then after a while we were putting them in the room. And like normally I was leaving the camera inside the backpack. The backpack was closed. We never got condensation. Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you. Leon Flack, what was your white balance setting? In general, did you shoot raw and worry about the white balance in post, or you do it later in post?
Yes, I do it later in post. So normally I always get question about white balance, and my approach is that if I shoot raw, I can always change the white balance. I just need to change the temperature slider. If you use Lightroom, right? Temperature slider. And then you get the same result, but this makes you like not worry about that when you're on the field, right? You can just like focus on the composition, on the light, on the subject, and this and that, and less things you have to worry about, like the temperature, the better. it can be useful to set the exposure, set the temperature to a fixed value. If you're shooting like a time lapse, if you're shooting like the stars, so then the entire batch has the same exposure. And then it's easy, like if you edit one shot and then you paste the settings to the others, it's much better, because then the white balance was the same throughout the set.
Okay, thank you. Susan Polap, is it possible to put an anchor in the water in the ground, or is it too deep? Do you know how deep? Do you always anchor at the land?
Okay, so a really interesting thing. The anchor-wise, the ground underwater, like the floor, is really bad. It's all rocky, and the anchor doesn't work really well. So they were putting the anchor, but you're often drifting, even though if you put down the anchor. Where we were sleeping wasn't really deep, was actually pretty shallow, like maybe 10 meters, 5 meters, like was not deep at all, because we were always sleeping close to the land. So we were closer, like if we needed to go for photos or whatever, we were sleeping pretty close, not in the middle, wide open. And because of the ground is pretty bad, we had to, the crew, I did not, they had to put ropes in land. So they had like these really long ropes. They were taking, they were putting 2 ropes on the side, 2 for each side, and 1 in the front, 1 in the back. And then they were putting 1 rope in the Zodiac, and then when they were bringing this rope in land, and then they were tying it around some rocks or something, and they were doing the same for all the ropes. So it was taking quite a bit of time every time to anchor the boat. It was like 1 hour sometimes, like with the wind. It was even more tough job. Once when we were in Cooverville, there was like icebergs coming, and they were like trying to fix the rope, and there was the iceberg pushing the rope, so they had to do everything again. Tough to work down there for the crew, for sure. Really tough. And last thing that I was impressed about, when we were in Deception Island, there were like I think 3 or 5 meters, so the water was 3 or 5 meters deep, and we put 150 meters of chain.
Wow.
Like I'm not an expert. I sometimes go here in Italy with my father sailing with the catamaran, and I think you normally do like 3 times, 4 times the depth, right? So for sure it was like a crazy amount, and the motivation was because the anchor is so bad on the ground, then you put a lot of chain, and then it's the chain that keeps you there, not the anchor.
Okay.
This is the reason. And then you put a lot of anchor, so you have a lot of weight on the ground.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay. Interesting. Paul Travels, did your boat captain coordinate with other boat chiefs to ensure that there was not too many people on the locations you were visiting, or it was just random?
No. So there is an association for tour operators in Antarctica, which is called IATO. And basically, this association is to give everybody a better experience, and also to preserve the location, not to have many ship, many people, so many rules, such as like the curfew for the penguins. Of course, like rules that are good it's good that the rules are there, and it's good to follow the rules. The captain, because the boat was part of the IATO, the captain, for every place, he had to reserve for a window of time. So for example, we went to Yankee, we had to book in advance for sunset and sunrise. We and we had to do like that for every place. You needed to reserve your time and on that area. Then this company that we use also had another boat for 12 people, a motorboat. And for example, we were in the Yankees together, and I think they allowed us to go for sunset, even though it was their time, right? But they can do it because at the end we were like, normally bigger boat take like 100 of people. We were, I think the boat was for 12 days. I think they were 8 plus us, so like not even 16 people. So it was fine, and it was nice. That's why we were able to go for sunset and then for sunrise. It was pretty cool. But it's another thing to think about, right? Because you like for some places were booked, and this and that. You know. But we were not able to coordinate with private boat, just with big cruises, because private boat there were actually several people that we crossed that were sailing there with their boat. And of course, you cannot coordinate with them, and then they are not part of the yacht or anything.
Awesome. Then we have Rhea Ashmore. Seasick pills or any recommendations? Did you all take seasick pills?
Yes, we all take seasick pill, but I can't remember the name. Like just some pills that I bought randomly last year in Norway. I was traveling to Norway, I bought some pills, but yeah, I don't know. There are two kinds. One kind makes you drowsy, one kind doesn't. I was getting the one that was making me drowsy, and most of the clients are the one that did not. So definitely that one worked better, and also they had some patches to put here, but we felt like the pills were working much better, and nobody. So we only had one person being sick on the first night. He didn't took any pills, and he applied the patches, but not. I think you have to apply them like several hours before. But because we arrived and we started sailing straight away, it didn't like work. And apart from that, all the other like times that we had like really rough sea and worse, we all had the pills, so nobody was sick.
Good. Yeah, there are pills with caffeine, so keeps you awake.
Okay.
Okay, we have like Paul Hart. Did you need ND filters, or were you using polarizing filters, or no filters?
So polarizing filter is really good because cut out the reflection from the water. Can be really nice if you're shooting the iceberg, that you get the color, like the brighter color that is underwater, and then you cut the reflection. So that works really nice. Apart from that, I didn't bring any. So I didn't bring any filter at all, because my bag was super heavy, and all my lenses were like the 12-24 has a round element, the 400 is too big, and this and that. So then I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna carry all the filter case just for 2 lenses. So I decided to cut weight on the filters. But if you have to bring one filter, I will definitely bring the polarizer. All the clients, I think all of them had the polarizer. It was pretty good.
Cool.
Other filters, especially if you're using like an ND filter and you're on the boat is moving, there is no way to do long exposure. Then we were shooting a lot of wildlife. So I didn't feel like ever the need of doing a long exposure. But also it's my style. I don't do much long exposure in general. Yeah.
Good to know. Klaus Rainier, what was more impressive to you, sailing or photographing?
No,
both.
Both. And for sure, the memories of the sailing trip will never fade away. Like it's been a crazy experience, really once in a lifetime. But the photos, I was there like for the photos, more for the photos than anything else. And I completely fell in love with the landscape. Like this huge amount of ice everywhere, huge glaciers, is crazy. Like it felt like being in another planet, really. Like I've been traveling a lot over the years, but I've never seen anything like that. Really, really, really insane landscape.
You've been to quite a few places on Earth and tough hiking experiences and stuff, sleeping under the stars and stuff. And this is a completely different venture, right?
Yes. Plus, I didn't have much experience sailing. Like I went for a few days from my hometown to Corsica, which is like a really short traverse. But in the Mediterranean, the weather was good, the temperature was warm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Different experience.
Boat travels, any issues with the cold and your battery life? Do you need to carry a warmer to keep them warm?
So no, because it was not that cold. It was only -4 degrees. The batteries were dying for sure faster because of it was cold. It was not -20, but still -4. We all saw that the battery life was much shorter. It was draining really fast. Because I do a lot of camping trips and I'm often like out in nature for days, I have like 8 batteries. So I'm never concerned about running out. I was keeping all the batteries like in an inside pocket inside my down jacket, so really close to my chest. So I was warming them up, and then once one battery was dying, I was just changing. And nobody actually had problems with batteries. We were all able to charge the batteries on the boat. So at the end, I think they were carrying the clients 4 or 5 batteries each, and never a problem.
Cool. Max bite. Any special precautions with temperature and your gear? No, it wasn't that cold.
No, it wasn't that cold. No. I will say, no, not much. Okay. No, the precaution is really important. Is to have a dry bag. Really important. From when you go to the boat into the Zodiac, and from the Zodiac into the water. I said to everybody, bring a dry bag. They all did. Of course, I was the cool one without the dry bag, and I was super scared. Every time we had like waves coming into the Zodiac, and I was like hiding. And then I was using, like trying to cover as better as I could, but I got lucky. Yeah.
You love your gear. Okay, yes. Giuseppe Toloni, what kind of backup equipment have you used? Only the laptop?
So yes, I was no. I was bringing. I brought my laptop, but then I had an external disk. I normally, when I'm traveling, I never save the photos into the laptop directly. My laptop doesn't have a lot of storage, and also I prefer to save them into an external disk. And then as soon as I save them to one disk, I make a copy on another disk. Then I have basically 2 disks with the copies, and then I hide one of the disks and I go around. I travel with the other. So in this case, with the boat, if we were sinking, was a problem. But normally, like if I'm traveling somewhere, like I leave one in the hotel and one in my pocket, like as I travel. So if something happens into the hotel, I still have the photos on me. And this is how I do it.
Very clever.
And I also try never to cancel the photos from the SD cards. Like if you have space, right? I always try to leave them there, and then I cancel them once I'm back home, just as an extra backup.
Awesome. And we have Chris. Did you go through any biosecurity checks when you started the venture, like cleaning boots or clothes or?
Yes. So we. So there wasn't really a check actually, but there was supposed to be a check. So we were. When we landed in Antarctica, there was like with the plane, there was like a big box or something with water, so we had to step on it with the shoes. And then basically we were told not to use our shoes, but to use their boots that they gave us, the company gave us, some nice boots. So we everybody used those boots through the trip.
Okay.
But yeah, there wasn't actually like somebody checking, but there were like a tons of PDF regulation from the company and from the people that gave us the briefing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because because one thing we were also told that the luggages needed to be like really clean, to use like vacuum. Sorry, I was missing the word. A vacuum to clean it, because if you are bringing like seeds or anything, then you can like spread like a new species or something in Antarctica, right? Probably the grass that we found at Yankees was brought, like the seeds were brought by somebody.
Yeah.
That's the captain theory.
No, sure, probably. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Drima Solar asking me, drones. Are drones allowed in Antarctica?
So drones.
Tough question.
That's a tough question. Depends. Personally, I was able to fly because I got like the permit of the captain. If you travel with that, of course, you cannot fly above wildlife colonies or anything. You can only fly above landscape with no wildlife. But I was able to get the permit from the captain. I needed to have like 20 hours of flight record. And I did. I tried to fly the drone twice, and I crashed the drone twice.
My God.
I didn't told you that, Rafa. So I crashed the drone. I never crashed a drone before in my life, and I destroyed all the propellers in one day.
Wow.
So then there were no propellers left, and not drone photos for Marcos. I think I had something similar happening in Norway. Probably there are more experienced people than me, but anyway, like my guess is that the reason I crashed the drone was not a pilot error, was like a drone problem, because as soon as I took off, the drone started flying by himself.
Wow.
Like I wasn't touching anything, and it seemed like when it happened to me in Norway, there were like a really strong solar storm. Like there was the aurora basically, but it was during the day, so you don't think about it. You fly, and it seems that it mess up the compass of the drone.
Wow.
If you're concerned about me losing the drone in Antarctica, because it could be actually a really big problem. If you drop the drone in the water, then the batteries is a really big problem. Could be a big problem. But I crashed the drone twice on the boat. It didn't flew off the boat. Yeah. So I took off and then went just straight against the cables.
Wow.
Yeah, success.
Well, lucky enough not to leave a drone there.
No, sure.
Definitely.
And my drone now should work. I have to try it again. I just have to buy new propellers.
Probably in Italy it will fly again.
Yes.
Okay, then we have Sandra. Sandra is asking, are you underexposed the white of the environment?
So it really depends on the situation. If I had like a controlled situation, what happens with the snow? Like if you're underexposed, then the snow is kind of gray. So I don't like to underexpose too much for the snow. I like to try to like expose like a 0, or even if it's like a controlled situation, overexpose a little bit. But of course, without blowing the highlights. Where instead, if I'm like shooting wildlife and changing the frame, right? So focusing shooting in different light conditions, I prefer to underexpose of one stop, so it's more safe that the exposure is okay. And then also with draw, you can just like, if you're underexposing by one stop, then you can just increase the exposure, and that's it, like a kind of a similar result. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, Max McBite. What was the power source of your gear? Any recommendations?
The power source. So we were able actually to charge on the boat, everything on the boat. Like the boat wasn't a huge boat, but it was big enough, so it had like a generator and everything. And early in the morning and late in the afternoon, if we were at anchor, they were turning on the generator, so it was possible to charge all the devices. They had just like a really big, really good inverter that was able to handle all of our laptops, all of our batteries, everything that we needed to charge, basically. And then while we were sailing, where we were going with the motor, it was actually possible to charge just because the engine was on.
Awesome.
Last
4 questions.
Yes.
RA, just wondering, do you have a focus stack landscape images, or are your images mainly single shots?
No, I do focus stacking. We also did a class during the trip. In this specific trip in Antarctica, there wasn't really much need of focus stacking, because when we were shooting landscape, we were like always. So I do focus stacking more if I'm shooting like a foreground that I really want to be in focus. So for example, like some nice rocks, some nice flowers, something like that. Then I go really close to the foreground. The foreground becomes really big, and I want everything to be in focus from foreground to background. So on my portfolio, you will find a lot of shots that are focus stacked. But in Antarctica, not much, because when we were shooting landscape, the mountains were always pretty far away. So if I was focus stacking, meant like to get really close to the snow, really close to the foreground. But the snow did not have. We never found like snow with texture. It was just like fresh snow.
Okay.
So with no texture, there's not much interest. And I was just taking, like I was actually zooming in a bit, starting to focus like a few meters away from me. So there was no need of focus stacking.
Okay. Question from SP. What would you do different next time? That's a good one.
I will bring Rafa.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. If you bring me, I'm bringing the good weather with me. Nice weather. No storms, nothing.
Yeah, yes, please. Yes. No, I will bring Rafa, and I would really like next time to have a submarine.
Oh, yeah.
It would be very nice. I would really like to shoot the wildlife from underwater, and also the icebergs from underwater. It would be very cool. But maybe we have to see, Rafa, if we can find a boat with the submarine.
I think you found already one with submarine and with helicopters.
Yes, I did. No, but that could be really cool. And what else? I'm not sure. Like before getting the big storm, I was like, could be very nice to go and cross the Drake Passage as well. Like, a big storm over there. And then as soon as we got like waves, we were like, oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
Definitely. It's tough. Okay, Cat Jones, big question. Did Marco share his huge lens? Or everybody was bringing a big lens?
So I don't know why. I don't understand why. Not everybody was shooting with Sony. Like, I don't know what's wrong with people. So I only could share my lens with Kevin. That was the only guy that was shooting with Sony. And I think, I'm not sure if I did, Kevin, if you are on the chat, if you are here, maybe you can, maybe I shared another lens. I don't know, but I shared my camera and lens. I landed it to David.
Mm-hmm.
And he got some amazing whale shots, the best from the trip, I think. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, amazing camera. Thank you so much.
So two guys from Sony, the others Canon, Nikon, or
there was two Sony, two Canon, one Nikon, and then one Fujifilm.
Okay, so and it was peace. There were no discussions about the gear. My camera is better. Your camera is better. Whatever.
Of course. I
love Sony. I love Nikon. I love Canon.
There was a lot of discussions. Yes.
Okay. And the last question from Paul Travels: high Arctic or Antarctica? High Arctic or Antarctica? I think you went to Antarctica, right?
No, I went to Antarctica for sure.
Yeah.
But the Arctic is the North Pole.
Yeah.
Right.
Which one do you prefer?
Which one I do prefer? So I've been to Antarctica. In the Arctic, I've been in northern Norway. So it's like different. It's actually the Arctic Circle, but is fjords and mountains, no ice. So yeah, I've never been. And I've never been more north than Norway. So I've never been like to Svalbard or up north.
Yeah, Svalbard has to be nice.
I should go, probably.
Yeah, we should do something there.
As well.
Okay, Marco, no more questions.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rafa. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in and for all the questions. I hope you enjoyed my recap of the trip.
Definitely. I've been, a trip to Antarctica, amazing experience. So thank you so much, Marco, for being here with us, sharing your stories. I'm sure you were afraid of dying?
No comment.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching us, and hope to see you in the future in one of our expeditions, maybe to Antarctica, maybe to Svalbard, maybe to another place. But yeah, we're gonna put something cool together in the future. Now that it seems that COVID is going down a little bit, and we'll allow everybody. I think, Marco, you have a few expeditions coming on. You're doing a workshop in Tuscany, and you're doing a workshop.
Yes. I have a few expeditions coming up. The first one is in May with our common friend Michael Shamblu.
Any spots available for that one?
There are a few spots available still, and there's gonna be a nice big villa with a private chef, with good food,
nice.
Cooking class. Yeah, so really looking forward to that. It's gonna be more holiday trip, and then I have the trip with you in the Dolomites in October, another one with Michael in October. Yeah. Hopefully, we are starting to go back to normal.
Yeah. I hope so. After 2 years of COVID, it feels good to travel again.
For sure. It felt actually unreal to be on the boat with 6 strangers and without mask, living with them, like sharing everything, right? It was really good, especially after the pandemic. It's been pretty cool for me.
Yeah, tough times. Okay, Marco, thank you so much again. I love you, guy. I love you. You know that. I'm sorry, Jessica. I'm in love with Marco too. Jessica is in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next Wednesday, actually tomorrow, posting another video on YouTube. And remember that you have the power to imagine, plan, and shoot legendary photos. Bye. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Love you all.